What is going on, YouTube? It's that time of the year again. It's coming up towards Christmas, and usually around this time of the year, I try to do a major build, a major desk setup transformation upgrade. This time, we're going to be building something unique, something that I've actually never built before. It's going to be a his and hers desk setup for my brother and his wife. Almost 2 years ago, we put together his first desk setup space in a designated office room in his house. And that setup was primarily just meant for him to be able to work from home, do some video editing, some content creation, all of that stuff. But then his wife began to work from home, which created a new problem. Now, they both needed a work from home setup and decided to start sharing the one that we built for them, built for him almost 2 years ago. So in today's video, we're going to try to remedy that situation. We're gonna try to create something that works for both of them. Try to create a his and hers setup that represents both of their personalities in some ways. Big shout out to Secret Lab, big shout out to Elgato, big shout out to Keychron. These are some of the brands that have supported me throughout my builds. And I really appreciate it, man. This is gonna be really sick to see how this comes together. And one more thing, I appreciate you guys for supporting and watching and following through on this journey and really helping me get to this point. So we're not gonna waste any more time. I don't know, what time is it? It's about 1:06 a.m. I had to drive from a different city, so Calgary over here to Lethbridge where he lives at, and brought a bunch of these items. I already had some shipped here, but I brought more of them here. Okay, so it's tomorrow now and we're ready to build. We're ready to get this thing up and running. And I've got Ty with me this time. He's gonna tell us some things about what they've got going on here, because they were actually started putting this place together before I arrived. So they've done some work to get this thing going to reduce the amount of time that we have to spend putting this place together. And I really appreciate them for that. So tell us what you got going on here, man, because I really, really like this wallpaper that you guys have got going on here.
It's a very deep story. Actually, that's bullshit. We just went on the website. It looked nice, looked pretty. Dara chose it actually. So here we are.
I mean, I honestly would say that I love the warm tones, like the forest vibes, because that's what you've got going on here, right? It's like autumn, right?
Yeah.
The fall, leaves, that kind of vibe. So it's really cool what they've got going on here. But you sent me a picture, earlier when they were actually doing the project where they missed this bottom part here. So they didn't measure it correctly apparently, and this part was open, but they somehow fixed it by the time I got here. You guys can see down there, they've got a baseboard piece, but he's gonna tell us a little bit more about that little mistake and how that even happened in the first place.
So funny story. This was a Dara screw up. She got the wrong measurements, and because of the way this wallpaper comes, it actually has to be cut to be precise, right? Because they all interlock to maintain that same, the same strain of the trees. And because of that, you have to be exact in your measurement, and Dara kind of messed up. She got it for an 8-foot ceiling, but we have 9 foot here. So we ended up with like almost a 1 foot gap at the bottom. But
Well, by the way, Dara's the wife, so that's who we're building the her setup for, and who is gonna be in this space with them now. That's not what I heard. He told me it was his fault.
what do you mean?
I'm just saying that's not what I heard. But he's saying something different now, so we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
Okay, all right. It's my fault. I'll take the blame. I'm taking credit for the fix. We had this one trim of baseboard left over from one of our other projects up. Just thought we'd slap it on there and then put like an LED strip in between it. And
it's actually pretty ingenious. Like I looked at it, I said, this is going to look extremely ugly in the video. You just ruined the video, bro. We started off by putting Ty's new desk setup together, beginning with the desk itself. He originally had the XL version of the Magnus Pro in this space, but this time we opted for the standard size to free up a bit more room. The desk surface is a decent bit smaller, but aside from that, there are no real differences compared to the XL. It's still an all-metal desk with a built-in cable tray and integrated power. With how excited Ty was to get everything up and running, the desk was out of the box and ready to assemble in no time at all. Since I've built a few of these before, we moved through the process pretty quickly. Once the legs were mounted and the cable tray was installed, we flipped the desk upright and intentionally left the rear cover off so we could handle accessories and cable routing later. We also added a power outlet directly into the cable tray for the devices he planned on running. It includes multiple power receptacles along with USB Type A and Type C, which honestly strikes a good balance between size and functionality. The desk itself includes a single integrated power outlet that routes power cleanly from the base of the desk into the tray, but on its own, it's not enough to power a full setup, which is why the extension box totally made sense here. Next up was a desk mat. I'm a big fan of full surface desk mats, and that's exactly what this is. Ty went with a Lamborghini themed mat, which wasn't surprising given how big of a car enthusiast he is. I hadn't seen one of these in person before, so it was really cool to finally check it out. Installation was pretty straightforward. Using the alignment bars on each end, he slowly rolled the mat out across the entire metal surface. Thanks to the magnetic backing, it locked into place cleanly as it went along. The final result was a dark gray suede surface with Lamborghini and Secret Lab branding in the bottom corner, subtle design elements along the side, and accent colors all the way up top. It looked right at home on this build, to be honest. Before bringing in the monitors, we installed a heavy-duty monitor arm first. It comes in 3 main parts that need to be connected together. Assembly was quick, and once it was mounted, we moved straight into the display setup. We went with a dual monitor configuration similar to his previous setup, but this time both displays are OLED. These panels aren't just great for gaming, they're also fantastic for creative work. Color accuracy is excellent, which makes a big difference for video editing and color grading, something that Ty spends most of his time doing in here. The main display is a 34-inch QD OLED ultra-wide with a subtle curve, which works especially well for productivity-focused workflows. QD OLED takes everything you already love about traditional OLED and pushes it a step further, putting out higher brightness with even better color and vibrance. It also supports up to 240Hz, which is definitely more than he needs for work, but gives him the option to game casually in here if he ever decides to. Before adding a secondary display, we installed a few other peripherals so we wouldn't have to adjust placements later. First was the Elgato Wave mic arm paired with his Shure SM7B microphone, both carried over from his previous setup. He mounted it behind the monitor slightly off to the right and then attached the mic onto it. This combo has served him well in the past, so it only made sense to keep it in the new build. We tested the range of motion to make sure it was practical, and sure enough, it worked perfectly. Next were the desktop speakers. I've used the Kanto YU2 in other colorways before, but hadn't ever seen the walnut version until now. These are powered speakers that I can personally vouch for in terms of sound quality and reliability. They're compact, sound great, and add a subtle contrast to the otherwise dark setup. We paired them with angled stands to aim the sound directly toward his ears. We then added the second monitor below the main display. It's a 15.6-inch 4K portable OLED monitor with a 60Hz refresh rate and meant to house non-essential apps. After that, Ty brought in the new Keychron Q6 Max full-size wireless keyboard. The colorway blended in nicely with the rest of the desk, and it came with switches that sounded really satisfying to type on. We paired it with the Keychron M5 wireless mouse to complete his productivity setup. The mouse has a more unconventional shape, but one that looks designed for long work sessions. It also features dual scroll wheels for horizontal and vertical scrolling, customizable side buttons, and adjustable DPI and pull-in rates. Together, the combo looked solid and fit perfectly well with the masculine desk aesthetic which we had in mind. We also added a black Elgato Stream Deck Plus with some gold accent dials. This will give him quick access to commonly used apps and actions. We paired that with the XLR dock add-on to power the SM7B, which eliminated the need for a separate audio interface while adding extra functionality. The Stream Deck Plus features customizable keys, a touch strip, and rotary knobs, making it a powerful control center for his and honestly anyone's workflow. To finish off the desktop, Ty brought back a walnut MagSafe stand from his old setup, which fit perfectly into this new build. With everything in place, we went ahead and routed and connected all the cables to the desk and cable tray. Using magnetic anchors, sheathing, and Velcro straps, cable management came together pretty quickly and kept everything looking clean and wire-free. The final step was reinstalling the rear cover and adding a smart LED strip to light up the wall behind the desk. The updated Mag RGB strip, which is a collaboration between Nanoleaf and Secret Lab, uses a USB-C and a more reliable connection system compared to the previous version. Once secured, Ty connected power to the left leg of the desk and then added his headsets using another magnetic accessory. The last piece of the setup was his MacBook Pro, which acts as the brain of the entire desk. With a single Thunderbolt cable, he's going to be able to get quick plug-and-play access to everything. He chose to keep it in a vertical orientation in order to maximize the limited desk space that he had. With the desk now fully assembled, we moved on to the chair. Ty went with a Lamborghini-themed Titan Evo, which matches the desk mat perfectly and stands out visually compared to the more understated designs you'll usually see. Assembly was quick and straightforward. We swapped out the stock casters for soft rollerblade style wheels for smoother and quieter movement. Once the chair was fully assembled, He added memory foam accessories, including a neck pillow and lumbar support. To complete the setup, we added a professional footrest. It requires no assembly and uses a magnetic system to keep the foam top securely in place. The footrest can be locked at different tilt angles or used in a free moving mode, making it easy to stay comfortable throughout long work sessions. Ty rolled the chair back in, powered up the desk, and made final adjustments to the monitors. At that point, his side of the office was officially complete. Tell us how you're feeling so far about the build, the entire process, and essentially every item that you've got on the desk, from the monitors down to the productivity combo, your keyboard and your mouse.
I mean, it's definitely a big change from where I'm coming from. First of all, from the physical size of the desk. I mean, the footprint is obviously smaller, but we've obviously optimized it to actually take advantage of that smaller space, which is actually, I find it very cozy. I mean, we made a big change as well. I'm going from the side by side to a stack, and I'm kind of liking the stack much better so far, especially from an ergonomic perspective. I mean, I've been having issues with my neck after suffering from a whiplash injury, so I've gone through ergonomic assessment, and they've tried to they've recommended keeping things more within, you're not making too much turn.
What about that walnut speaker? Tell us something about that, man.
Now, that walnut speaker itself, that thing pops. Like, it's very refined, very matured. I mean, I was going for that all black look, but that walnut speaker right there, it's just a banger right there. It's not too loud, but it also doesn't just blend in with the rest of the things in here.
With Ty's desk fully up and running, we moved over to the opposite side of the room to start building Dara's setup. For her space, she wanted something bright and airy, which was a nice contrast to Ty's darker, more aggressive build. We started by installing a smart shade over the window located directly behind the desk. She decided to go with a woven wood style shade, which is more focused on aesthetics compared to traditional roller shades. It also has matter compatibility, meaning it works with any smart home platform of choice. Installation was straightforward just like everything else, and Ty had this mounted in no time. Next, we brought in the desk. It's the same size as Ty's to keep things balanced in the room. We measured the small nook beforehand just to be safe, and it turned out to be the perfect fit for the standard Magnus Pro. For her setup, we went with the white variant. Since the build process is identical to Ty's desk and we had just put one together the day before, this part went by pretty quickly. Once everything was assembled and flipped upright, I brought in a desk mat. This time we went with a light gray leather desk mat, which pairs really nicely with the white desk. The leather surface will also be much easier to clean compared to Ty's suede mat. To add more depth and usable space, we decided to include a desk riser on Dara's setup. It's designed specifically for this desk and comes in white or black. Naturally, we went with white to match the overall aesthetic. The riser mounts to the back of the desk using C-clamps while still keeping full access to the cable tray. The only downside, and this is purely opinion based, is that the riser is only 34 inches wide. When using monitors that are larger than 32 inches diagonally, it can look a little bit undersized. Next up was the monitor arm, and we used another Secret Lab heavy duty arm here, just like we did for Ty's build. Unfortunately, it only comes in black, so that's what we had to use. The monitor arm had to be mounted directly on top of the riser, which raised the display and created usable shelf space underneath that. Installation was quick, and then I brought in the monitor next. We reused the same display from the first office build since it's been rock solid for productivity and multitasking. It's a 40-inch 5K 2K ultra-wide built for productivity. Not OLED, but still more than capable for what she plans to do here. Once mounted, I adjusted the height and locked it into place. Next, I added the Pebble SE desktop speakers. I picked these up in white because I thought their shape and design would complement this setup nicely and contrast well with Ty's speakers. They have a rounded design with their drivers angled upward towards your ears. Connect via USB-C and include built-in RGB lighting at the base. For Ty's setup, his MacBook Pro acts as the brain of the entire desk, making it easy for him to take his work on the go at any point in time. Dara works from home full-time, so a stationary setup made more sense for her. Before coming over, I picked up a base M4 Mac Mini. It's super compact, powerful enough, and offers a solid selection of I/O ports. While it does lack USB-A and an SD card reader, both of these are easy fixes with a USB hub. For our productivity pair, we went with a 10 keyless Keychron K4HE in a white and light walnut colorway that delivers a smooth type-in experience. We paired it with a Keychron M6 wireless mouse in whites to tie everything together visually. The mouse has a more traditional shape compared to Ty's, but is still designed for long, comfortable work sessions with dual scroll wheels and programmable side buttons. The final desk accessory was a MagSafe wireless charger to keep her phone top throughout the workday. I finished things off by cleaning the monitor, then routing all the cables between the Mac Mini display and peripherals. Just like before, I used magnetic sheets, anchors, and Velcro straps, this time in whites to keep everything blending seamlessly with the desk. Once that was done, Ty secured the back cover and attached a magnetic RGB light strip here as well. Finally, we tucked the desk neatly into the corner, centering it within the opening as best as we could. Ty hopped underneath and connected the power cable to the left leg of the desk, bringing the setup to life. Before testing out the new build, we decided to put the chair together first. Dara went with a pure white Titan Evo built using the newer NanoGen material. It's noticeably softer than the original while still being more durable, though the overall design and assembly process remained the same. Dara wanted to handle the build herself, so she got started by swapping the stock caster wheels for the same soft rollerblade style wheels we used on Ty's chair. The only compromise here is that they don't come in white, so the chair isn't fully monochrome anymore. Ty helped detach the backrest, and from there, they finished assembling it together. She added the included memory foam neck pillow, and for lumbar support, she chose a Monster Hunter themed pillow. It adds a nice pop of color to the otherwise white setup and provides solid lower back support thanks to the adaptive design. Instead of a footrest like Ty's, Dara opted for a leg rest, specifically the auto adjustable leg rest. It uses memory foam to support the legs and can be adjusted for height and tilt. The auto comes mostly assembled with just 4 screws needed to attach the feet. Once that was done, she slid it under the desk, rolled the chair in, and settled into her setup. She powered on the Mac Mini for the first time, ran through the initial setup, and everything worked as expected, thankfully. We gave her a bit of time to personalize it before going ahead and moving on to the next thing. This is the setup right now. This is what it's looking like. Are you happy with it?
I love it. Colors, it's amazing. The space, it's ergonomic. I can like take a little nap while I'm working. I love it so much.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you heard her. Before wrapping things up, we built a wall-mounted storage unit they had picked up earlier. It's meant to serve as shared storage since space is very limited in this room. Ty handled the assembly and my electric screwdriver made the process fly by. The unit includes 4 open shelves for decor and a 2-door cabinet below for shared storage. Since Dara spends long hours at her desk taking calls, we also decided to add a walk-in treadmill. She tested it with the new setup, everything worked smoothly, and from there, we moved on to decor. Now, decor is always subjective, and I say this all the time, but I think the pieces they chose added just the right amount of personality without overwhelming the space. On the other side of the room, Ty also finished personalizing his area with items that meant a lot to him. By the end of it all, we ended up with a space-efficient dual desk office that's perfect for a couple that works from home, with each setup clearly reflecting their own style. I'm just grateful I got to be a part of helping them bring this to life. This is really just the beginning for them as well, so if you want to keep up with future upgrades, make sure to subscribe to their channel. Everything used in this build is linked below as well. Thanks for watching, and I hope to catch you guys in my next one. It's Tommy, and I'm out, y'all.